you're going to have to take the time to maybe connect and contact the kids or whatever that is, right? You're going to have a larger ox if you're going to want a larger harvest. And what I'm so excited about VBS, to be honest with you, is that VBS is truly the one consistent evangelism that we do as a church consistently. We have about 170 churches, and every summer, roughly close to about 100 churches at least does VBS consistently every year. I know, and I rotate around and I visit many of your churches, and we do it so well. We do it so well. But here, this is a broken record because you hear me say this in our VBS training. Here's what I'm always griping about, always often the heart of me, in that in many of our VBS, we don't reach beyond the kids in our four walls. The kids that are already coming in our church. And this VBS, what a great opportunity now to go beyond our four walls, to reach kids beyond what you may not be able to reach because they may not walk into your sanctuary or to your church. And so, yeah, this is going to take, going to take a different type of work. You're not going to have to decorate your church like you may have in the past, but there may be some help that you're going to need, and it may be a different form. But I'm just really excited at what God's going to do as we do this. Let's just bow our heads. And Patty, could you go ahead and pray for us as we begin?
Sure. Let's pray together. Heavenly Father, we're grateful for this time that we get to be together, to plan and dream and reimagine what VBS might look like and the ways that we might be able to reach our little ones for Jesus, for you, Lord. Help us, give us your wisdom, and as we share our ideas and listen to other ideas, Lord, we just ask that whatever we do be honoring to you. And Lord, as we move forward in ministry, not only in VBS, but in the other areas of our church ministry and leadership, God, we just ask that you would guide us and give us the wisdom that we need to continue our mission and to continue to reach out to those in need and to care for our congregations and those under our care. We love you, Lord, and we're grateful for your presence. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Amen. So a couple of things there on your thing. If you have a question or anything, feel free to use the chat on the side. Judy and Patty are monitoring that. So if you have a question, there's several screens here. We've got about 52 participants, and I only see about 30 of you on the screen. So there's a few. Is this all in one screen? No, it's not. There's a couple of screens in there. So feel free to write questions or comments or whatever you need to do over there. And so you're able to do that. So don't forget that. What I'm going to do right now, actually, is I'm going to put to a speaker view. So you get to see me a little bit more. So if you're wondering where I am, I'm in a storage room because my wife got tired of me invading the living room for the last 4 weeks. And she goes, hey, you're out of here. We want our living room back. And so that's where we are. So we are here. Both of you guys are doing, some of you are here for Heroes and some of you are here for Rocky Railway. And I thought what I want to do is give a little bit of an overview for each of this VBS, okay? So that you get a better feel for what it is. And then we're gonna take a few polls to see what it looks like. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna share really quick here. I'm gonna share a screen. So do you guys see a heroes backdrop? Yes. Okay. So the NAD is putting out Heroes this year, and they're calling it Heroes VBS Home Edition, and it's coming July 6th through 10. And what's unique about it, two things that I think you need to be aware of. One, they are going to use the same Heroes kit this year and next year, right? So it's kind of going to be like Heroes 1, Heroes 2, or Heroes the Next Edition kind of thing. Some of the same characters, same songs. So what they're actually doing with the Heroes VBS Home Edition is they're going to create a different set of crafts, maybe a little bit different stories. So it's going to be quite a little bit different than what's in your kit. So you're probably not going to really use your kit the way you have, or the way that you're familiar with, and it's free, and you're able to just follow along and use. And so there are two things that they're gonna do. They're gonna, on July 6th through 10, they're gonna actually have a nationwide VBS where all the kids can register, and they're gonna have it in a time where, so it's kind of like, let me see, if they did it 6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, then it would be 3 o'clock Eastern Time, a time where it's early enough for all the kids, and they were having this vision about having this one huge VBS. So that's one area that, for those of you who wanted to do Heroes, you could either participate in the live Heroes edition put together by Oregon Conference and by Texas Conference. And then the other part is they're going to have this all recorded so that you can actually then take those pieces and have your own Heroes VBS if you wanted to do that. But I wanted to make sure that you guys understood that the kit will be different than the stories that they will be doing, or kind of the crafts. So it's going to be like a part 1 and a part 2 kind of thing. The songs will be similar, right? But it's going to be kind of flowing from one year to the next. So that's kind of pretty exciting in one sense for that. And what else is there? And all the stuff. So here it is. Heroes Home Edition will be available online or as a free download on July 6th through 20, right? So for those of you doing Rocky Railway, if your church wanted to do 2 VBSs this year, and you have the Rocky Railway kit or something, you could actually go like, hey kids, you don't need the kit to actually participate in the Heroes VBS Home Edition. It's right there. It's pretty easy, pretty basic. In the meanwhile, we're doing Rocky Railway. The pastors are taping Rocky Railway. Do you guys see the reimagining Rocky Railway, or do you still see Heroes? You see reimagining Rocky Railway?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Perfect. So what we're doing at Rocky Railway is we thought about, do we want to do a 1-week VBS, or do we want to do something that goes all summer long? And we had much discussion over this, and the children's pastor really felt that just simply having a 1-week VBS, afterwards, the kids are going like, well, what do we do now? VBS is done, we've done this, and they didn't want to do what typically happens. So I'm gonna stop share for a while and get back. But you know what happens typically in the VBS, especially around the Loma Linda area, right? You see where all the different VBSs are. So-and-so starts early June, and then mid-June, and then July. And what our kids would tend to do is they would go VBS hopping, right? It's fun. Even if they've had it, they'll go from church to church. I know, because I'm taking pictures and I'm going like, you look familiar. Oh, I saw you in that other VBS, and then I'll see them again and again, right? It's a great thing. But this year, the children's pastor said, no, you know what? Let's do something that we've never done before. Let's collaborate and put together one VBS at one time. And so what they wanted to do was, they really had a concern about screen time, because the typical VBS runs about 90 minutes or an hour and a half, right? So what they wanted to do instead was to have VBS so that it's over 3 days, and our part is no more than 15 minutes long, right? So the way it would kind of be like is so one day would be stretched out a week. So if you were doing Rocky Railway, Monday would be Move It Monday, where it has to do with activity and a family challenge and how to get the families moving. Wednesday would be like the Bible story, Wisdom Wednesday, and the Nature Nugget, and all of this. And Friday would be Family Friday, where they could do things as a family. The imagination station, maybe the crafts, the community service. And what we wanted to do is we wanted to have it where each week the kids, when they come to church, can pick up a VBS kit, and they pick it up at your church, or if it's your local community, they come pick up a little kit each week from your, and they go home, so that while they're watching the VBS, they're interacting right along. They have all the supplies and all those things right there. And so it's a 3-day week VBS. It starts June 29, right? That's a Monday. July 1 is a Wednesday. July 3 is a Friday, and then it goes all up all the way till July 30. And what they felt was, let me see, what they felt is by doing that, even if a family goes on vacation, they won't miss the entire VBS. They'll just go like, oh, maybe I'll miss a day, maybe I'll miss a week, but a week is only 1 day of VBS, and the kid can still be active all summer long. And so that's kind of the overview, a quick overview of Heroes and Rocky Railway, of how that goes. So we're really revamping Rocky Railway to make it a lot more home friendly. And the other thing too, and this goes for Heroes, is we are trying to have it so that the churches can be an interactive part. Now, many of you, I know this question was asked, many of you were asking, how is this gonna work? Is this gonna be like your Sabbath school where we simply send it to our kids and they play and they watch? Or will this be a little bit more interactive? And the way we're visioning this is to really, because we understand that each church does their VBS very unique. And we love it. I love it as I go visit your churches. And so we want this to be a little bit more of an interactive VBS. So we're only doing 15 minutes, basically the middle portion of that, so that it allows you to be able to go right in the beginning, do the opening exercise, to do the welcome, you could have kids do the prayer, you could have kids lead out in song service, you could have all that. And then you plug in our portion in the middle, and then it could be as simple as then you guys do the closing exercise. And maybe your church decides that you're gonna do your own community project and you're gonna talk about it. So that we kind of are like the state, if it's VBS, we're like the station in the middle, and you guys are the welcome and the closing. And you could even choose to pause, because you're probably gonna use Zoom when you do this. You could probably pause it and say, hey, let's talk a little bit about this or this activity or something like that, or add to it if you want, or change a craft and say, you know what, for this day, I want to add an extra craft, so I'm going to delete that portion, or I'm not going to show the imagination station, and we're going to do a craft as well. So we definitely want Rocky Railway to be a very interactive VBS. I mean, it's already there. The director's kit already tells you what are the things to say and all of that. And obviously Heroes, Rocky Railway has a home edition kit where you could actually just do 1 week yourself. But we really felt that we didn't want kids spending 90 minutes each night. We had a concern about exposure and just screen time, long screen time. And so we felt that by doing this, by spreading it out, we minimize the screen time and we maximize interaction with our churches at the same time. Okay, so I'm gonna pause right there, and I'm gonna take our first poll. And so confession, I've never done one before. I'm gonna hope it works. So let's try. So here's polls. You are logged in from another device. Oh, no, I'm not. What happened? Fail. Oh my goodness.
Do you need me to launch the first poll, Manny? I can launch it.
Oh.
You can launch it? Yeah, I don't know what happened. I don't know how you can launch it, and go ahead, Judy. Launch the first question is your church thinking about doing Heroes or Rocky Railway? So that's the first poll. So go ahead, Judy. Go ahead and lodge that first one. It should, let me make you co-host. It should show up, or you should be able to put it on your screen. Yeah?
Yeah, they're able to
I already have it.
see the results.
Oh, how come
Yeah,
I
we
don't
got it, Manny.
We got it, Manny.
You do? How come I don't see it?
Oh,
You can't vote.
I
knocked
can't.
you out.
It knocked me out. Okay, so Judy, what's the result?
So far, 37% are doing Heroes and 63% are doing Rocky Railway.
Okay, does that show numbers, like number of churches?
15 Heroes, 25 Rocky Railway.
Is the poll still open or closed?
It's still open. We've
Okay.
still got a couple more people coming in. 41 out, 42,
Have taken the poll?
43 now,
Okay. There's 56 online. Let me give you 30 seconds more.
45.
All right, we're going to go ahead and close it.
Okay, so 19 churches are doing Heroes and 26 are doing Rocky Railway.
Okay,
I'll end the poll.
thank you.
You want me to share the results?
Sure. That would be cool. I want to see it. Are you able to share the screen, your screen? Can we share your screen?
We can see the results.
Everybody can see the results on their screen because I shared it.
So it's only me
Pastor
that can't
Manny, are
see
you
it?
having issues? Pastor Manny, are you having issues?
Liz!
Liz.
Liz
Can't
is,
see the polls.
I can't see the poll, and I created it.
And
Oh,
you did a good job, Manny. We're all seeing it.
oh. That's too funny. Okay, well, I'm glad that you guys can see it. Good. So based on this numbers, about 60-40, 40%, is that a close?
Pretty close.
Yeah, 40% is doing Heroes and 60% is doing Rocky Railway. That's awesome. So here's the question that I need to know as conscious. If you're doing Heroes, so can you launch the second Heroes poll? If you're doing Heroes, would you like to do it live with the NAD, or kind of just do it on your own, or have it so that it's spread out over the week? I think there are 3 options on that question. So the question, where can I get a director's guide for Rocky Railway? The director's guide would be in the kit. So if you have a where can I get a director's guide for Rocky Railway? Yeah, it would be on the kit.
Manny,
And group is also producing a home edition. Yes.
oh no, you're looking at Tyler's chat post about where they can get a director's guide. If you have not received your kit and you still need one, I'm just posting up for you to email us so we can make arrangements to get you your kit. We're not quite sure how that will look, what that will look like, but we'll make some kind of arrangements to get your kit here in the near future. So I'm putting it up on the chat.
Perfect. Yeah, because I'm about out. So
Yeah, we have very few, so you need to let us know pretty soon.
yes, please. So Judy, is the second poll up already? Are you
want the
guys
date?
doing?
Yes,
Yes. That one.
I will launch the
I'd
poll
like to
now
find out if people are. Thank you.
for the Heroes. This is the ones
For the
doing
Heroes.
Heroes.
Mm-hmm. So one of the things that we have to decide as a conference is how we are going to help you in doing the Heroes VBS. And if everybody says, oh, we want to do the live one with the NAD, basically my job is done, because then you just register with the NAD. You just register with the NAD and you do it with them at the same time. But if you're wanting to have it in a different way, then we'll have to work with that a little bit differently, where we have to get the files and then we'll do it like a day at a time or something like that. So there's about 19 of you guys who are doing heroes. So Judy, what are the results coming out to?
We've got 10 of them. They're still responding, but so far they want to do it with the NAD July 6 through 10.
Okay, that's
There's
how
a few that'll do it on their own time, and there's a few that will have it throughout the summer, but most of them want to do it with the NAD.
Perfect. Then, that's what we'll do is we'll advertise it that way, right? We'll advertise the July 6 through 10. And that would be kind of cool, a mass VBS. They haven't quite given us the exact time, but as soon as they get us more details on that, my suggestion is, I'm going to do a quick share. My suggestion,
I'm
guys.
going to end this poll and share it real quick.
Yes, please do.
So yeah, so we have 47% of them want to do it with the NAD, then 29% on their own time doing it during July 6 through 10, and then 4 churches that have it throughout the summer.
Okay, and I'll have to see if how that will be, because July 6th is the week after ours, and we're starting June 29. The original plan, I thought, my original thought of how this VBS was going to be was I wanted, because they're going to have heroes in Spanish and in English. So I thought, wouldn't it be cool if Monday, Wednesday, Friday is Rocky Railway, and then maybe Tuesday is Heroes English, and Thursday is Heroes Spanish. So every day there's like a little something that kids can watch for all of July. That was this great big plan that I had, but it not quite gonna work that way because of the way that they're doing that, and that's out of my control. So we will work with whatever's there. So again, the website, as you guys want to know a little bit more about for the heroes, is go to adventistVBX.org, right? And they will have, and they'll update this as they come along, and they'll have all the information and everything, and you can sign up right there for the updates. So I would suggest that everybody that's doing heroes, go ahead and sign up for the updates so you know exactly what they're doing. And again, you really don't even need a kit to do this, because they're gonna have it sort of different, much different than the kit itself, because they want to be able to use the VBS next summer as kind of like Heroes Part 2, like Avengers Part 2. One thing I really like about, the Heroes theme is this. It's not, if you haven't seen a kit, it's not heroes like Superman and Avengers and Marvels. It's everyday heroes. It's little kids doing the little things that make them heroes for God. And I love that concept, right? I love that concept. So it's stories about these little kids in the Bible who did just the simple things, who were faithful and became heroes for God. They didn't do extraordinary things. They were just faithful to what they were given in the task that they had. And so I really liked that. It was really good. And so I definitely encourage for those who haven't decided, that's a very good theme. I have to say that I also like group's theme, and that is God's power will help see us through and pull us through, because it's a train theme, right? God's power will help pull us through. And what a better theme than right now when we're going through all of this, when you're thinking about, hey, you know what, God's power will pull us through. So both VBS, I think, have an amazing theme, amazing ideas. But since the NAD was already doing the heroes, so we were going to decide if we were going to do the heroes or Rocky Railway as children's pastors. But since the NAD was already doing heroes, we decided, well, we have half of our churches who do Rocky. So we ended up doing Rocky Railway. And so that's what we collaborated on together. So don't think, so I want to say that, I want to be very clear on this. Don't think that because we chose Rocky Railway, it's because we are not wanting to support the NAD VBS. we chose Rocky Railway because it's one that we don't have anything for. And we actually, off the record, I actually emailed the NAD Children's Ministry Director and said, hey, listen, do you guys need help? We've got children's pastors here. They would do an amazing job. Do you guys want us to put together a VBS for heroes? Because we would knock it out of the park. And she goes, and we would do it in English and Spanish. And she goes, oh, you guys read our mind. We want English and Spanish, but we actually had 2 conferences volunteered ahead of time already where we did the beta test, Texas conference in Oregon. So that's already on the works. And so that was really like, whew, okay. Then, so when I spoke with the children's pastors, they said, hey, then we can just focus on one. And so we're doing the Rocky Railway. So, but I don't want us to think that because that's what we're doing as children's pastor, that we think that it's a better product than Heroes. I definitely go on record. That's probably, if you don't mind, I want to just go ahead and answer the questions for Heroes, because the rest of the time I'm going to spend a little bit fleshing out Rocky Railway, because there's a lot more moving parts to it at this point. So if you don't mind, let me go ahead and answer, and then those who are Heroes and done then can go ahead, and you don't have to stay on unless you want to hear what Rocky Railway is about, then you're welcome to stay. But are there specific questions on Heroes that we may be able to answer right now before I go into describing a little bit more what Rocky Railway is? Go ahead and either turn on your, unmute yourself or write here in the chat. No questions.
Yeah, just one real quick, Manny. So
Okay.
just for clarification, I already went ahead and I signed up for the updates online. That's pretty much where I'm going to be getting my information. That's correct? Because right now I don't have anything confirmed.
If the majority of us voted to do it live with the NAD at July 6th through 10, that's what I'm going to be promoting, right? And then I'm also going to be giving information on if you want to do it yourself, how do we go about it?
Okay,
Yes.
but that actually didn't answer my question. So our church is looking at doing Heroes, and
Okay.
we did in the NAD version, but as of right now, that is all the information we have. That is correct? That we just go online, sign up. Now we just wait to hear more.
Yes.
Okay, that's all I need to know.
And I want to be clear that the kit that you're having will help you understand what that Heroes VBS is about, but that's really going to be launched more fully the following summer, if that makes any sense. That's Heroes Part 2. So they want to make Heroes Part 1 or the home edition different enough that there's going to be a difference between this summer and next summer, so that the kids get to, by now then they'll get to know the songs and all of that. So the only thing probably will be similar will be the songs that the kids are doing. Before you guys, the Heroes people take off, I invited Mike Blincy, and Mike Blincy is, he does sports apparel for many of the organizations and many of our churches, in Loma Linda University, La Sierra University. And he's offering something that's really unique, and that is to provide a shirt. But what's cool about this is, so if you say, hey, you know what, we will give you a shirt for the first 50 kids who register, they will actually mail the shirt to the family free of charge. And the cost per shirt is $6, right? The cost per shirt is $6, and that includes shipping it to the family home. So Mike, it's 6:30. Oh, good. I promised that I was going to let you share a little bit at 6:30. This is something that you want to listen to, because I think that many of you may want to connect with him later or do something for the future event. But Mike, go ahead. Time is yours for the next few minutes here.
Thanks, Manny.
Let me put it in speaker view so that they see you.
Okay, can everybody see me?
Yes.
Cool. So basically, my company works with all of the high schools, universities, hospitals throughout the country. Um, when all this hit, I started talking to other organizations, specifically with Azure Hills, as well as Sandals Church and several other churches that I happen to know. And Pastor Carmen got me in touch with Manny for this project. The idea behind it is to just make it more interactive and helpful for you all, where Manny would give me the logos for either the Railroad or Heroes, depending on which one. You would contact me, and we can do it one of a few different ways. One would be to, like you mentioned, do a bulk order that you would pay for, and then we would ship. Or you can also have options where, and I'll be honest, it's probably the easier one. I would create an online store for you, and then parents could go on and buy shirts if they wanted. So they could buy 2 or 3 shirts for each kid in different colors. They could buy one for themselves. And you can have the option to either have your church's logo put on the back with the VBS on the front, or you could opt to just have the VBS on the front. So there's different price points for that. And obviously also there's different qualities of shirts. Certain churches want more of a performance style because they know their kids are more active. Fine, we can put those options on your site. It doesn't matter to us. The main thing is to be able to help, because BSM's always talked about community in the heart of the game. Well, what better way to do that than is to serve the church? And we have an entire division just for churches. So I'm here for any questions. I put my email on there, which is just mblincy@bsnsports.com. I know we had a meeting just yesterday, and I already have 10 emails from that one asking to start setting things up. So if you'd like to talk to me about it, you're more than happy to. There's no obligation in this. I'm just trying to create solutions for y'all in a very odd time.
So the way he's doing it is he is putting us under one umbrella as SECC Children's Ministry. So our orders kind of are like from one, we're getting like a bulk order price, even though your church may only order 20 shirts, right? And the cool thing is you could customize it so that your name can be on the shirt. One of the things that one of the pastors thought would be cool is, you know, this is such a unique situation. Oh, by the way, we're going to talk about VBS funding, so don't leave yet, right? So I'm glad nobody has left. And she goes, and the suggestion is, what if in the back of the shirt, we write down all the names of our churches who's participating in VBS this summer, right? So for all of us, all the names of all the churches collectively as an SECC doing VBS has all the names of the churches. And then in the front, if you're doing Heroes, we would have a logo for Heroes and in your church name. And if you're doing Rocky Railway, we would have a logo for Rocky Railway and your church name and kind of thing like this. Now, you know, there's other freebies and stuff like that to order. And I know they're not going to get to come to your church. So there's a lot of discussions going on, but I definitely wanted to have Mike, because what he's offering is pretty cool. If your church uses shirts as an incentive for kids to register online, that might be a cool thing to say, hey, if you're the first 50 kids who register, you'll get this wonderful shirt, and they'll mail it for you. They don't even have to come to church. They don't have to pick it up. It goes directly to their house or something like this. It's kind of a neat thing for some of you who do church. I visit many of your churches, and many of your churches, you either give a shirt to your staff, of which you won't have as many staff this year, or to the kids themselves. So any questions while Mike is here?
One other thing, Manny, I know a lot of the churches that have asked already have talked to me about making custom masks for their churches. So if you'd like that option as well, they start anywhere from $6.50, $7 all the way down to $3, just depending on the level and how many you're buying.
The
So
volume, right?
well. Yes.
Yeah, the volume.
Mike,
And-
there's a question, I'm sorry.
Go
There's a
ahead.
question about what would be the deadline for the shirt orders.
So I need to know at least 2 weeks prior to you starting. So like a lot of churches, if they want to do both, where they want to bulk up front and then put a store online if people want more, which is also very easy to do as an option. But my main concern is I don't want to put on a store that I know is going to close after a week or whatever we put it on. And it's going to take 2 weeks to get the shirts, mail them to the family, And then if you're only working the VBS, so like Heroes, that's only a week long, those are the ones that are more important because there's a lot more time in the pipeline versus the ones that are in July are fairly easy. I just need to have closed by July 14th in order to make sure that I have everything for you for June 14th for a July VBS for the entire month. So there's both of those options, but usually you need at least 2 weeks.
2 weeks, 3 is preferable, right, Mike?
Ideally, yes.
And could you repeat the price point for the masks again?
Yes, the masks start at, we have 3 options. We have one, which is the buffs. So it's around the neck, sports material. We also have the over the ear as well as the around the head, which are adjustable. We have those in adult and youth sizes. Actually, if Manny, can you share my screen real quick?
Well, we're seeing you. Oh, let me make you co-host if that's the thing.
Yeah.
Make co-host. Your co-host.
Okay. Share screen. Okay. So this would be an example of the different masks. So you have a buff, you have around the head, and then you have the over the ear. There is these designs, and they would be custom to the different. So if you wanted, say, this one with the Heroes logo or Rocky Mountain, doesn't matter. You just say, I want Streak, and then we would put the logo on it. As you can see, these are the price points. So $6.50 or $7 if you're looking at 50. 50 is the minimum for this, and then it goes down from there. Also with Manny, if several churches wanted to get together and just say, no, we want 500, we want to buy 500 of these and we distribute to the different churches, that's perfectly fine as well. And that would lower your price point for the masks specifically. The masks, because of the way they're designed and sold in bulk, I cannot send those to each person's house. So those would be going to the church, but then you can hand that out with the craft package that you'd be giving out for the week. That is another option as well.
So I'm curious, because the price is the same. It's $6 for the mask and $6 for the shirt. How come the shirt can be shipped to the home, but the mask can't?
Because the mask is dye supplemented. So it's made at a factory. So everything that's dye supplemented we make, it starts white. And then we digitally print it onto it. So nothing ever comes off. There, like when I'm wearing a shirt, we're used to silk screening and feeling it. There is none of that. It is actually in the physical fabric. So you can pull it as far as you want, and a kid can literally try to destroy it and rub it off, and it cannot come off. So because of the way those are created in our factory in Texas, those ship as one bulk order.
Oh, got it.
Because they're cut all at the same time versus shirts, I can have them going from 5 or 6 different regions and coming to each person depending on where they're coming from. But there's only one factory that makes that particular mask for us nationwide.
Okay. Just how it's processed. That's what it is, right?
Basically, yeah.
Okay. Do you guys just do things with cloth? For example, do you do bags, promotional bags?
I can do bags for you. I can. One pastor was asking about balls for their local camps and clinics. Yes. You want hats? This is one of them that we made for Perfect Game client. Basically, my job is to not say no.
Okay, I'll talk to you later because one of the things we want to do, and I'm gonna put it back into the different screen. One of the things that we want to do is if you're gonna be passing out kits to your kids, is to have a bag. And so I have to get Pastor Aaron's approval, but I was joking, but we do have to get approval. I wanted to get to supply, if possible, if I could afford it, the plastic bags so that you guys don't have to buy the plastic bags. So it'll be one that if I could, maybe like buy 10,000 of them or 5,000 of them so that you'll have them available and then you could put your stuff inside is kind of what I was looking at.
We're doing a lot of very cheap drawstring bags right now.
Oh, drawstring bags.
For all of the drive-by graduations. So if you think about it in your guys' aspect, you could buy Several of them are not very expensive. And you could actually have that to put all the different kits in. So now you become contactless.
Yeah, we're actually thinking more, and as I'm working with the things, one of the things that I want to emphasize in this VBS is connection. And one of the reasons why we wanted to have this VBS run over several weeks is in this way, the connection happens where the kids come into the church, they get to see you, they get to connect with you, they get to pick up a bag every week for the following week's VBS, right?
Mm.
Whether it's a Ziploc bag or a plastic bag, nothing fancy, but with logo and everything, something that versus we give them one drawstring bag for the entire time that they have, and then it's one connection. So I would like to multiply that connection from 1 to 4 or 5 connections over that. And so I really like the idea, even on the heroes, I wish that we could spread them out over the summer, because I like the idea of having those kids continue to connect with you throughout the summer, because that's what evangelism's about. But Mike, I'll talk to you about that separately. Thank you so much. Do you have any questions for Mike before he has to go? Because I don't expect him to stay through our meeting here in the next few minutes. Anything on the chat? Okay, so if there are no more questions, I think you have his email and everything, and we'll give you more information as we go along. I didn't take a poll before. I should have done, that's the one poll I forgot. Judy, maybe if you could create, I don't know if you could create one on the side, and that is how many churches would be interested in doing some kind of doing shirts for their churches. I'm curious to see if we have that, if you could create that poll. Let me talk a little bit about VBS funding. Thank you, and I forgot who the person was. 2 years ago, during our regional meeting, one of you went to the microphone and asked this question. Listen, we have not had an increase in our VBS funds for so many years. And because of that question, they actually increased the budget, the evangelism budget for VBS. So thank you. I forgot who it was, but thank you. So we have roughly about $60,000 that we have to spread among 150 churches for evangelism. If you do the math on that, it's not very much, but not all 150, 170 churches do evangelism. But roughly every year, we get to about $300 to $400 per church for evangelism. And because of the additional monies, we've been able to also supply as many kits as we possibly could for that. Now, this year, your money should be able to go a little bit further because you don't have to do all the decorations for the stage and for your rooms. And so what we would love to see and recommend is really think about seriously having VBS bags or VBS kits. Whether you're doing Heroes or Rocky Railway, have it there so that when they're watching the VBS, that they are interacting. So whatever arts and craft, and by the way, if you're doing Heroes, that supply list will be given out mid-June so that you could gather them together. If you're doing Rocky Railway, we're pulling up that, we have a semi-supplies list already, but we're gonna finalize that June 3, right? But you have your supplies list, and so that every kid, because otherwise what it's going to be is it's not going to be an interactive VBS. They're going to sit there, they're going to watch the VBS, but they're not going to go, oh, well, I don't have this supply and that supply, and I have to go and have the parents go buy. But the ideal is that it's self-contained. They get a bag, if they're going to do a craft, they pull it out, they do it on the spot, everything's provided. If they have imagination station, it's there, everything's provided. If they're asked to pull this out, it's there, it's provided. That to us would really make VBS a lot more interactive and a lot more fun, so they're just following along. And we hope that that's what that evangelism budget will go towards. Now I'm gonna quickly share you the screen in case you're not familiar. With that, I'm gonna go to youth ministries. Hold on one second. There you go. I'm going to go
Pastor
to,
Manny, the
yes.
thank you for the additional funds goes to Griselda from Anaheim Church. So
Oh, is she the one that
that's who the
asked?
credit's due to.
Griselda.
It was Griselda from Anaheim.
Ah, there you go. You know, your one question has so far to date increased our funding by $60,000 over 3 years now. So wow, that was the most wonderful question that one can ever ask. So if you guys are seeing the SECC Youth website, it's a wonderful page except for that picture in the center. I don't know who that is. But I just want to take you there first and let you know a couple of things. This is our, we have a COVID-19 update. If you ever click on this, it's got a ton of resources for children, for family, for youth. I'm not going to click on it right now, but I want to just invite you. This is our whole illustrious team. But I want to walk you through to make sure that you go to our ministries page right there with family and children. And in family and children, oh, I checked on adventures. Family and golly, VTUG. Man, let me try that. Family and children. Click on, there you go. In family and children, once you get there, you're gonna click on Vacation Bible School. And when you click on Vacation Bible School, there is a link there for VBS funding approval. Now, that was supposed to have been turned in 2019, but you know what? I will allow us to be all on time if you guys get that submitted between now and in the next 3 weeks. If you fill up that VBS funding approval here.
If you scroll down, Pastor Manny, there should be links on that page underneath that poster.
Oh, is there? Okay.
I believe so. Which that poster should have came down.
Oh,
yes,
there you go.
right there.
Thank you. So you're gonna sign in under VBS late. No, it's a VBS funding request for 2020, right? Liz, which one do you want them to fill out?
Just do the VBS funding request 2020.
Okay, so you're gonna fill this up, even if you've never applied before. Fill this one out, right? And so we want to make sure that we are able to supply funds for every single church this year that does VBS. It's not a lot, but it's going to be helpful, right? And so it's going to be in at least $300, if not $4, maybe even $5, depending on how many churches actually do it. So what happens is, depending on how many churches there are there, I take the funds and I kind of divvy it up, right? So if we get 170 churches sign up, it's not going to come out to a lot. But if we only get 80 churches sign up, that will come up to a prettier penny. But here's the process. You fill up a VBS funding request. You don't get the money right away until you tell us that you've completed the VBS, of which then you will need to fill up a VBS report. In this case, it will say VBS report 2020, because there are many churches who apply for funding, but then change their mind later on. So we're not going to ask for receipts for what you sent. We're just going to ask for reports. Hey, we did the VBS. We had X number of registrations. This is kind of how it did. You maybe send 1 or 2 pictures or something, and then boom, we have our church. We have our treasurer send the funding through your church for that VBS fund. So it's kind of an after the fact and not before the fact. I'll have to talk it over with Verlin and the team if we want to make an exception this year. I'm sure would be helpful if we send those monies ahead of time instead of later on. I don't know if the Treasury will do it. Because again, there's so many church who request and doesn't end up doing it. I will let you know if somehow we're able to change that. But again, this is the process that you would do, regardless of what VBS you do. Please, if you haven't signed up yet, sign up right here, VBS. And I'll send out an email next week with a list of all those churches who's requested on
Danny?
that. Yes.
The poll that you wanted taken, was that to see how many people would be interested in shirts
Yes.
or bags or both?
Shirts.
Shirts?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Any question on VBS funding? Because that's pretty critical, and a lot of people kind of sometimes go, we didn't know there was funding available, or is it too late to sign up? And the answer is no. You're right on time. Sign up now. Any questions on that, on VBS funding? Because that's really critical.
I have a question.
Yes.
Janice, if we're unsure if the request was done at the end of last year, can we submit? Is there a problem?
No, it's no problem. It will just duplicate. But what I'll do is sometime next week, I will have Liz give me a list of all those who signed up, and I will send it to your churches. These are the churches who signed up for VBS request. If your church is not here and you're doing one, please do it. And I'm going to go the other way too, because I've had churches who already told me we signed up for VBS, but because of the situation, we're not going to have it this year. So we want to make sure that we know both ways, whether your church will continue to have one or, we'll have one.
Okay, great.
Good question. Thank you, Janice.
You bet.
Any other questions?
Yes, I have a question.
Pastor Shifra, yes.
Hey, I should really know this, but it's been a little while since I've been the VBS director, and I'm not even sure if I will be for this year. I just want to step in my local church. If I have problems locating the report information from last year, what do you recommend so that I can get my funding request in? Because you need to go hand in hand.
No, the report is after you do your VBS.
From last year, though, the report from last year, if that hasn't been.
If you've gotten your money yet or not from last year?
I seem to recall that in order to request funding for the current year, there has to be a report of what has been done from last year's funding.
No.
That's evangelism.
You don't have to. The report for VBS report 2019 is simply so that you get your 2019 money.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, that's all it is, right? So that should have already been given out in October, November last year. So yeah, if you didn't do one last year, don't worry about it. We just need you to sign up for it this year. And then as soon as you're done, then tell us that you've done it, and then we send you your money. Hopefully like around August, September. Yes.
There's a question, and it has to do with VBS bags or kits. Will we have, you think the team that's filming will have the information available regarding the content of those kits like in the next couple of weeks? Is that a safe time frame?
June 10 at the latest.
Okay. Tyler,
in fact,
does that,
I have a sample bag. Yeah, I have a sample for Rocky Railway. I already have a sample suggested list that I'm going to share with you today. Man, how do I, Liz, Aaron, Patty, help me out. How do I get everybody's email contact that signed up today? Is there a way to do that through Zoom? Is there a way that we can capture everybody? I'm not aware.
See.
Anyone know?
Judy, I'm sorry, repeat the question.
So everybody that's here, if I wanted to send something to you guys, is there a way that I can capture all your information? Like, is there a place where they could put their email or something so that we could do a follow-up something with just the people who showed up, the 61?
We are currently recording. So if they put it into the chat, it'll automatically record.
So we want everybody to put their email address in the chat?
Yes.
You can private message it to Judy, myself, or Patty.
Oh, there you go.
If they don't want to put it out there like that, but they can definitely do it privately.
Well, don't do it to Liz. She's driving.
Yeah.
So.
No, but just, send us your emails they can do it to Liz, to Judy, or whatever. It's recorded, Manny, so we'll be able to see it later. Liz doesn't have to do anything right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just put it on the chat.
Do it on the private email. Yeah, please send your email address, and so that we will send you that, and we'll also do any Q&A. VBS funding is so important. Any other questions regarding the VBS funding? And there is no such thing as a dumb question.
I do have a question regarding heroes. Will
Okay.
will the conference be doing whatever part 2 is next year, and like showing it at our training and that kind of thing, or will there be a totally different?
We will probably do it whatever the NAD does. So we didn't actually get to do the, we actually didn't get to do the, we had bought all the supplies and they're sitting in the warehouse for the VBS workshop at Mount Rubidoux this year. And obviously things happened and we didn't get to do it. So if they're gonna present this, we'll probably have the training for next year for it.
Great, thank you.
Good question. Thank you, Linda. Any other questions regarding Heroes?
Manny, just a quick
Yes.
question about t-shirts. Are you going to get with Mike Blincy and then send all that information out regarding the t-shirts so people can start placing orders?
Yeah. So actually, everybody should have Mike Blincy's email thing. So I suggest that you go with him. You kind of
Directly.
But let me see if we could, as a youth department, determine a design that I would like to have. This is one year where I'd like to have some kind of a design feature that pulls us all together as a church. And I don't know if that would be putting all, Aaron, please chime in on this. What do you think of the idea of putting all the churches' names in the back, or you know, something that pulls us in together as one captive group? Any thoughts on that, Aaron?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I think that for the sake of unity, something along those lines that shows that even though we're dispersed, we're doing it together. So I'm open to ideas. I like the shirt name idea. We can explore some other ones as well.
Okay, yeah. And the question that was asked before, if we do shirts, is what if you don't order shirts? Well, does that mean that your name won't be on the shirt? And no, this is all the church that's doing VBS, regardless of whether you order shirts or not, right? And what would that be? I guess that's how I'll do it if we're gonna go that route, is whoever all requested for funding, that would be a good list that says they're doing VBS, right? So if you requested for funding, you're doing VBS, we'll put your name on the shirt. So that's probably how I would do it if we were gonna go that way. Cool, any other questions regarding funding or Heroes before I go to Rocky Railway?
Pastor,
Oh, I see one. Yes.
I don't know how to put my email into the chat. I don't know. I don't know much about Zoom, so I can't figure it out.
Oh, okay. So can you guys see my screen and the Zoom group chat, or just the pictures? Oh, you guys can only see the pictures, huh? Do this. I am going to give Judy, could you give us your group text number, and maybe she could just text it to you? Can you say it out loud?
Hold up.
For those of you who missed Mike Blincy's email, I'm putting it up on the chat again. So
I have to open it up. I don't remember my phone number by heart. It's 951-266-6957.
Thank you.
And if you go ahead and put that in the chat as well. So if someone's having a hard time with that, you could just text this number and we'll capture that.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
I have a question.
Yes. Hi, Janice.
Hi there. The question, our church is going to do Heroes with NAD.
Yes.
So for clarification, it seems like we would be doing a bag full of whatever craft supplies the kids need. And if it's going to be done in a week's time, probably give, one day, or you can give it every day. But understanding is we would find out about those supplies mid-June.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Yes.
Thank you.
I met with them a week ago, and that's what they said, that the latest mid-June, they'll have all the supplies. And
Okay,
we'll get
perfect.
that to you.
Thanks.
Good. So do I have any final one? Because if that's it, I'd like to take a few minutes and go a little bit and talk about Rocky Railway. If you don't have any questions, if you're welcome to stay and listen to what Rocky Railway is like. If you say, oh, you know what, we'll do Rocky Railway and then Heroes next year, whichever way you do. But yes.
Danny, first, before they go off, did you want me to have answer that poll for about shirts?
Oh, if you've got it done, absolutely. Yes, let's do
I
that
will
poll.
do that one first and launching it now.
Oh, wow.
I'm really curious to see.
Pastor Manny,
Yes.
this is Melina from India. I came kind of late. Can you kind of briefly go over what was for Heroes? We didn't get to go to the training.
So basically, on Just the Heroes, let me go ahead and quickly share this screen. Let me not share that screen. Let me get the screen on. If you go to the website, just really quick, there's a website called AdventistVBX.org. And on that AdventistVBX.org, you could sign up for the updates on that VBX, and it will tell you, but the NAD is doing an NAD-wide live VBS July 6th through 10. They're gonna have it at a certain time so that all the kids, regardless of whether you're back east or in the West Coast, can all be watching this VBS live thing all at one time. And it's July 6th through 10. And the majority voted to do this, to promote this, to have this live VBS. And in mid-June, they'll have a supplies list given to us, of which then it will give you time to gather all the, this is where, for those of you who's doing the Heroes, you could do a drawstring bag, put all the stuff that you need, and then so you could have it to your kids and given out the week before the VBS, if they pre-register or something like that, for that VBS. So does that help?
Yes, thank you. And can those live be linked to like a Facebook page or?
You know what? I believe so. Yeah. Okay. I believe it can. So
or is it on YouTube?
They will let us know, but I think that it'll be available in YouTube, Facebook, probably even Instagram, right? So
okay.
we'll have that all available.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. With that in mind, any poll results, please?
We end it. We had 37 that responded, and 28 of them are interested in doing shirts. 9 are no.
Oh, 28. Okay, that's a pretty
share
good
the results.
Yeah, that's a pretty good number. You know, there's a lot of people. A lot of people said, well, shirts are pretty expensive and all of that. So each church is unique. Each church has their own budget, each of things. So we at least know that 28 churches are somewhat interested in thinking about it. I'll let Mike know. We'll put that together for us. So with that in mind, let me go ahead and present to you Rocky Railway. And if I sound excited about it, it's only because I'm just excited as we work together as children's pastors, because I love it when we collaborate. They do such an amazing job. But Rocky Railway is, the goal and purpose for us for Rocky Railway is to, connect kids with Jesus, connect kids with the family, connect with church, the body, connect with our community, and really have fun playing together as a church family. We started the conversation with talking about values. We said we didn't want to do a VBS just for the sake of doing VBS, right? We wanted something that could really begin to connect our family together. And if there was a time when we can have a family VBS, this is now, right? And so we created this VBS with the family in mind, as a family VBS, or families coming together, maybe inviting, maybe 1 or 2 families getting together in a home or something like that. I'm going to say that carefully because, we still believe in physical distancing and all of that. But having it in your backyard, whatever, where families are coming together and having a community VBS, but not a church VBS. We already know that that's not going to happen in our local church. And so some of our values are going to be to provide spiritual nurture and instruction, help families grow together as a spiritual team, equipping and building confidence for parents to be important to us. Because we talked about, well, why don't we do a live VBS and do it 90 minutes long or something like this? And our pastors with kids says, you know what? My kids are on the screen way too much. And we've got to minimize that screen. And so even though we're doing it 3 days versus 1 day, we felt that having 15-minute or 30-minute segments for those 3 days are much better than sitting for an hour and a half doing that. And so we have some packet ideas, and I'll show you some packet ideas of what we put together for the group list. But basically, the whole concept is this. Monday is to provide a challenge for families to be active. So every time we meet together, there will be a family challenge or a family workout that they're going to do. And so it's going to be a more active type of verse. And what we're thinking and the concept is that your church is really integrated right with the VBS, because we realize that kids need to see people that they're familiar with. So they just don't want to see, you know, even though they're pastors, if they're not from that church, they won't know who the pastors are, but they will know you. So if you're there, and what are the ways of doing that? I mean, right now, the only one that I'm really familiar with is Zoom. So I'm just going to say it. How I would do it if I was in the local church, I would give a link to all our kids, have it as a Zoom like we're doing here, and then have what we present as something that you're going to show as part of your Zoom program, so that you're having a live VBS, 6 o'clock every day, whatever that would be. And you're going to start with singing, and you're going to have your own kids praying, and you're going to talk, and you're going to talk about the theme and all of that. You know, nothing long, but 15, 20 minutes, and really connect with those kids and get to know who's coming and make sure that they're there. And then you come through, and then you show the focus of that day. So Monday is the physical activity, and challenge them and do all of that. And then at the end, bring them back together and have a prayer time and have the mission project. And so we've got some polls that we're going to be doing specifically just for Rocky Railway. And so then Wednesday becomes old school midweek prayer meeting, right? Wisdom Wednesday. This is where we're excited because we have some connections, nature nuggets, real nature nuggets of people bringing in animals that's going to be talking about the nature nuggets, or specialists and stuff like that. Live animals that they're going to talk about that theme and that nature nugget, and then a Bible story that they're going to be doing for that day, and then a time for having a family discussion, a time for worship, right? So that's the family challenge for that day is Wednesday wisdom. And finally, we get to Friday, you know, as we introduce the Sabbath. But Friday is with the focus of family coming together. Imagination, you know, families working on imagination together, discussing what that means and how that applies to us as a family and as a life. And then maybe, and so one of the things I'm going to talk about is community service, right? We have a choice. Do we do the community service that group says? Not my preference, but that would be one. Do we do one that we as a conference create? We're looking into some local projects that we as a conference can do together, right? Or do you say, hey, you know what? We know the needs of my local church and that area, and we want to do our own local community service. But whatever it is that we want to do it so that the families can come and be a part of it and work and do it together. That's basically the concept of the week. We're going to have it designed so that the songs will already be there, so that if the church says, well, we just want to plug and play or have our kids direct them to YouTube, it could be that too. But my wish is that those of you who are here will be directly involved. So that leads to my next poll right here, right? And that poll, I think, is which way of VBS format would you prefer? Would you prefer a plug and play? Would you prefer where you are actively involved? Or would you prefer, I think there was a third option. Was there, Judy? I don't have it in front of me. not
Um,
slipping.
The one is for those doing Rocky Whaler, which would you prefer? 1 week or doing it through the conference throughout July? That's the third one.
Oh, okay. That was the third one. So let me put that poll through. You know, we're
Okay.
assuming that you're going to want to do it the conference, but obviously the box group, Patty, help me out, but I think they can go directly to group and have their own online edition kit, correct? Patty? You're on mute.
Sorry, I'm
Oh,
muted.
yes.
So Rocky Railway has developed an online version of their material. They have developed 5 days worth of Imagination Station, but using primarily the materials that they have been selling all throughout. So it's easy to go to. If you go to group.com and click on VBS, you can get all of their
Should I make
updates.
you co-host? Do you want to show that? Do we need to show it?
No, it's just
Okay.
it's just easy to go on and check it out and see if that fits your needs. But it's not as complete and robust as what we're planning on doing, actually.
Right, right. We're actually revamping and recreating this whole thing. So let's do that quick poll for the sake of that. I want to make sure I'm scratching where it's itching. Would you prefer to do it the way that we're doing it with us as a conference, or would you just rather do your own? And that was the poll that I think the third poll, right, Judy?
Yes.
Okay,
and
so let's go ahead and launch that.
Yeah, it has been. And
Oh.
19 out of the 39 have answered thus far, and most 84%, 16 of them want to do it with the conference throughout July.
Oh, perfect. Okay, so I'm speaking to the group of people who says, hey, yeah, let's do it collectively as a whole. I love that. Thank you.
Most of them.
So again, it doesn't make you a bad person if you just want to do your own 1 week. It just makes you a rebel, and I won't give you your BBS funding. Just kidding. So again, you could go right to the VBS for group and have your own 1 week. Absolutely. Maybe you don't want to stretch it out for all of July, and that's just too much, right? So we understand that as well. We're here to serve. So the fourth poll question was, Judy, remind me what that was.
How would you most likely present Rocky Railway, interactive or self-contained?
There you go. Yeah. Would you like to have it where you're involved and presenting, or would you like it where it's just kids just plug and play and recreate basically a self-contained program?
Oh.
Could you take that quick poll, because that's really important for us?
I will
as we
launch
plan.
it now.
Thank you. Dun, 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 dun. Now, how many of you guys, just curious, have bought a whole bunch of supplies already for decoration and stuff for Rocky Railway? Anybody? Oh, I was afraid of that. My suggestion would be during the month of July, decorate your church anyways, right? Decorate your stage, decorate your doors, decorate your things, so that when the kids come to your church, they still feel like, oh, yeah, this is VBS month. Except instead of just having it for a week, have it for the entire, have it up for the entire July where they're doing that. Absolutely. I think that we don't want to, that will make it even more special. So by now, everybody should have probably voted. Judy? Yes.
I have a question regarding the poll that you have up. When you're saying self-contained, we just show the conference program, you're saying the part you're doing is only like 15 minutes long? So you're saying that when I'm just confused by what you're asking. Really.
So right now we're intentionally just keeping it 15 minutes long because we are planning on having the churches become an integral part of it.
Okay.
Right. But if we find that all of you say, no, you know what, that's too much work. We would rather just you guys do it from beginning to end. Then we would have to redo it. I mean, not redo it, but we would have to add more.
Okay. Thank you. That answers my question.
Yeah. And I'm hoping what you guys are going to say is we want to, and we'll keep it partially self-contained within the 15, 20 minutes, but we would really like it where you're a part of the VBS program. And Judy, as the poll is closing, What do we have?
26 out of the 38 responded. Let me end it. And let me share the results. We have 18 of them wanted interactive, 8 said self-contained.
Okay. So we knew that some may do that. So we're going to probably keep it between 15, 20 minutes where they can watch. So if you're seeing the program, you're going to note that in between that 15, 20 minutes, we've included a theme song and a daily song every day so that they get to learn some of the different songs in there. And we've done that. And we've done the Bible verse. But just keep in concept that all 3 of these days is really equal to 1 day of VBS, right? So even though it may seem like it's only 15, 20 minutes long, well, 20 minutes times 3 is 1 hour. It's 1 hour kind of thing. And but we're kind of revamping and redoing the way it's done each day to really get the families involved. Something. But what we would really love to see is for you guys really enhance it and just make it yours. And we're simply kind of just the, excuse the term, the meat of the program in the middle kind of thing. Judy, did I have one more poll or am I good?
No, you have one more. And it is on the community outreach.
Perfect.
Can I jump in and ask a question?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm sorry, I'm a little bit distracted working with a family who's engaged with CPS right now. So
sorry, is this Pastor McMillan?
Yeah.
Oh, I recognize your voice. Oh, there you are.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what I understand, the interactive option that I really prefer what you're talking about would have enough self-contained elements that we would not be on for everything, but would be engaging alongside of what is being done. And would that be something that's being done live or is it pre-recorded?
So good question. So our part will be pre-recorded. So what would make it interactive is, let's say that you say your VBS will start at 6 o'clock. You start at 6 with a Zoom meeting, you get going, you get all the kids, you do all the opening thing. And then when you get to the station part, then you literally just play our portion, right? And then you play our portion. And then when that's done, then, then you go, it turns off and then you go back and then you're doing the closing and stuff. But it minimizes the work that the leader has to do, kind of thing. And
so we use the judicious pause button.
Yes. You don't even, it's not even a pause button, because in Zoom, for example, you know how I'm sharing screen? I could be showing the video when I share the screen. I would be doing that, right? I'm having this program and I can share a screen with you guys. So that's what you would be doing, is you would be sharing our part and then you would be stopping it wherever you want to stop it. But it will be just for that day, for each day. So if you wanted to talk about an exercise and you wanted to expound on something, you could actually stop it and pause it right there. Because it's an interactive, again, it's an interactive thing. You're playing sort of facilitator and counselor at the same time, because you know how in VBS we have kids talk about it in groups. And what I would actually do is I would bring out a question and then break them up into their groups. Say, hey, how did you feel about, if it's a Bible story, how did you feel about so-and-so? And then if you've got 60 kids, break them up into 15 rooms and they could talk among each other and then kind of bring it back or whatever it would be. I would make it as interactive as you're comfortable with.
With my churches, I'd be lucky to have 5 kids, not 60.
Well, okay. But I mean, whatever that would be, right? I mean, the facilitator, it still would be, I still think would be amazing, because what I'm really pushing is connection. And that's one of the things that we want to do here. We're not trying to get them to connect to a pastor that's in another church. We're trying to get them to connect to you in your church. And so it's really important that they see you and they see the children's ministry leaders. And we're just basically kind of the little meat and potatoes in between, but it's you that we're wanting to connect with. So that's what we're hoping would happen.
Thank you.
Did that help answer your question, Pastor?
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
You have a follow-up?
Yes.
Well, to his question, Pastor McMillan. So sorry if you said this, is there music included? Because that's been the most difficult part for our team, our worship team and programming, is to coordinate music over Zoom. Is that something that would happen on our end and then we press play for the conference, or is there music included in the conference?
So virtual is crazy, right? Because there's no way you could play any music and have everybody singing at the same time. It just doesn't, it doesn't, unless, you know, I attended our Sabbath school and, you know, she plays the music and let the kids sing, and it doesn't matter if it's not matching. It's the thought that the kids singing together, and that's perfectly fine. But as you know, group already has pre-recorded songs. Some of our children's pastors are very ambitious and say, can we redo some of those and make it more child friendly? And I go, if you have time, if you really want, but they're already kind of pre-done. Your local church, you may have some kids who may want to do those songs, or who may want to be singing them and literally just using the soundtrack, right? So you have kids leading out and using the soundtrack. To me, honestly, that would be a lot more fun than watching kids I don't know leading out songs. I would take kids, get them to know the motion, use the soundtrack, and watch them doing the song service, and not show the songs that we're showing. And make it your part of the opening exercise. That's how I would make this fun and interactive and using the kids. But that's me, right? But if you don't have that, that time and that skill set, that's what the DVD is for, or that's what we're going to be showing.
I had a quick follow-up with that. I know that my church, maybe, I don't know if any of your churches as well, can be sensitive to like too heavy the music. Mm-hmm. So I was wondering, like, what kind of type of program is that? Just one-sided or the other sided, or they kind of there's different options?
So I'm gonna say this carefully. Heroes music is created with the broad spectrum of Adventism in mind. Group music is created with the broad spectrum of Christian, Patty, help me, with the broad spectrum of, Christian taste in mind. So their music tends to be a little bit more on the moving type of music. Having said that, this year, because of the theme, they really have a lot of good, more traditional type of songs, right? And what I would do, Pastor, you're with Fallbrook? Remind me. Yeah, Fallbrook. What I would actually do is be intentional in selecting the songs that you're going to be comfortable with, not use the ones that we select, but say, hey, I previewed this. I like this music. I'm going to use that for our song, or I'm going to have our kids do it. Because really, most of the songs, depending on if you just use their track or not, are, because for the Adventist one, the only thing they do is they take out the drums for the traditional music. They use the same movement, they use the same song, they just take out the drums. And I don't think group can do that. I mean, it's made that way, but I would select the ones. And in some churches, like university, they do their own songs. They don't even use the songs done by the VBS group, except for the theme song. They only use the theme song, and then they put their own songs that the kids are familiar with. And there's definitely nothing wrong with that.
Oh,
Does that help?
Yeah, absolutely. And by the way, like I listen to all the hero songs and I love them all. And I know there's like more contemporary, more traditional, and both great. It just depends on the church which you are in. And I know our church is more like traditional, and I just want to make sure if I say that we want, for the conference to just stream it all, are they going to do just the one traditional or more the one conservative? Or can I just pick my own songs and then play the conference?
That's what I would do, Pastor. I would do that. I would do your own opening, do your own songs, and use us to whatever we could be of help. this is what we are, a resource. And I'm not going to visit your church and feel offended that you're not using the songs we put up.
Very helpful.
Manny?
Thank you so much.
If I could just chime in really quick on that, Pastor Ivan, there are a number of pretty good songs for a Rocky Railway that some are middle of the ground, some are a little bit less interactive, but you may want to check Group. They have released all of their songs so that you can launch, from your church to your people, no copyright infringement, except for a couple. And if you go onto the Group website, that's listed on there and you can see it.
Yeah. And he picked up a kit today, so there's a DVD. Is it a DVD? Yeah, there's a DVD for that, for all the songs as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So any other questions on that?
Pastor Manny,
Yes.
in regards to his question,
Oh, that's Lita. I recognize your voice. There you are. Go ahead. Hi, Lita.
in regards to his question he just had, according to your chart that you had put up, I was seeing you had the theme song and some other songs. Is that going to be in the pre-recorded? Because if it is, and that's not a song his church is comfortable with, then he can't just play the conference portion. Am I correct? Or am I misunderstanding you?
No, I'm gonna be working with our media people to see if that could be an optional part. But even if, Pastor, even if it's part of the recorded time, you know that you can fast forward a recording, have it ready on the side, and then just start from where you want to start. You don't have to start from the very beginning. You can start 5 minutes later or 10 minutes later into whatever part of the program you want. So even if the songs are already part of our program, because that's probably the easiest way to watch it, you could fast forward to the part where you want to start, have your own song, and then when you show it to your church, you start with just literally the theme for that week. Does that answer your question, Lita? Because it's very easy to do. It's very easy to do. And if you guys have any questions on how to do that, please contact us. That I can at least show you how. That's very, very easy. Those are great questions. Any other thought? And really, you know what? The way we're doing it, I don't consider it to be traditional or less traditional or progressive. It's family centered. The way the pastors are putting this together, it's really going to work well for all our churches. I really believe that. And I'm just excited at the way that they're really planning this out. We have 15 pastors coming together. They're divided up over the 3 days, and they're really being intentional about how they do this. It's an amazing. I've never seen anything like it before, where we have that many pastors coming together from, 13 different churches, putting together something. And we're not talking all, we're talking Yucaipa Church, we're talking Loma Linda Church and La Sierra and all of that. We're talking from different walks of the spectrum here, putting together something that's going to be a benefit to our church and our kids. And that's why I'm really excited about it, because when they come together, amazing things happen. I'm just going to tell you right now, I'm really excited about what they're putting together.
Pastor Manuel.
Yes.
If we have questions, how can we contact you?
You got my email, or anytime at info. You could, any of our secretaries or me, mvtug at seccsda.org, right?
Thank you.
Yeah, we're available. We answer your emails 24 hours a day. Sometimes at 3 in the morning or 4 in the morning. Sometimes you get emails from me from 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning. You
can also go onto our department website, and all of our contact information is also listed there.
Yes,
absolutely. You need to reach out to us. One other question, Manny, and I didn't know the answer to this, is what is our target date to have our stuff ready and deployed?
So we are filming second week of June. We are filming the first week, about the second week of June, third week of June, so that before July even starts, we'll have 3 weeks filmed. So we're only filming the last 2 weeks in July. So we are gonna have ours, well, obviously we're gonna release each day as the day of. So we're not going to pre-release it way ahead of time. So if we're doing the whole thing, we're going to release Monday 12 a.m. or something like that. And then they can use it anytime during Monday kind of thing. And then Wednesday and then Friday, versus we're not going to release the whole thing for churches to use. This is something that we want to do collectively as a conference if you're going to be part of this program. We're going to do Monday together, Monday, Wednesday together. Not maybe not the same exact time, but we're going to do it on Wednesday and we're going to do it on Friday, you know. And then we're going to have it available if somebody wants to use it for another time. Does that help, Patty?
I saw one other question. Somebody was asking if they're doing the VBS with the conference, do they still order the supplies from group?
When we give you the supplies list, so let me show you kind of a quick supplies list that we were putting together. Let me see if I've got that offhand.
Manny,
here it is.
our supplies list is mainly for the craft portion. And but if there are other supplies that folks have bought for decorating, especially if they're going to interact with their church, they'll be able to use what they purchase. But anyway, Go ahead with the supplies list.
So this supplies list is put together where it gives you all sorts of variety of ideas so that you could customize whatever your church has in terms of whatever their budget is. So the only thing that we're really kind of using and we're still toying with this idea, is the imagination station. The imagination station is really the applicational part of what the group program is, and they come out to about $1.25 per item, right? And that's one a day, and so that's one area. So that's the group off-rail roll, that's the group hover, that's the group bold blaster, that's the group perpetual paper, and that's the group power band ones. So one of the things that we will ask you to purchase from group is definitely enough for the imagination station so that your kids can participate in that on Friday's event. The plastic bags, I'm gonna try to work where hopefully the conference can provide that for everyone so that you don't have to buy it, but they're very cheap, but I wanted something more uniform if we could. Someone brought up the idea of because it's kind of the railway theme, many of them felt like they didn't want to spend the money on the shirt, but they wanted to maybe use the bandana instead. The group has this bandana that's kind of cool that they could put around their nose, that they could kind of, because, you know, the railroad is kind of a Western type kind of theme that they do. So those are the things. And then you have all of these optional things that we're not necessarily going to mention on the screen because we don't want the kids to feel bad, but that you could actually include. So they're optional, you know, like Bible buddies, right? You could buy the Bible buddies for one for each day. And what you could do is you could mention that in your part of the program, but we're not necessarily going to mention it in our part of the portion. That way the kids don't go, wait a minute, there's no Bible buddies in my packet. But when you're doing it, you could say, oh, kids, by the way, on your pack, we have a Bible buddy today to help you remember your verse. And so there's the Bible memory buddy. And then they have a carabiner and stick. So they have all of these things that you, depending on your budget, because now you don't have to do all these decorations, you can choose which ones of these are, oh, that stamper, that's pretty inexpensive, right? I'm going to use that stamper, or I'm going to use, you know, I'm going to incorporate these because it's pretty cheap. You look at your budget and then you determine how you want to enhance your activity bag. But basically, just the necessary one that we're talking about definitely is the imagination station at the minimum, right? And we're still debating on the bandana and the we're still debating on the bandana, but that we are kind of leaning in that direction. Was that helpful? Did that kind of give you guys an idea when we're talking about what's going to be in the kit? Yeah, no, not getting a. Yeah, see a thumbs up or whatever.
Did you have an additional craft that I was seeing on like the Friday one or something that wasn't part, because they don't do crafts with Rocky Railway, but I was thinking I saw that on your Friday ones.
We kind of call it craft, but it's really an imagination station kind of
Okay,
thing.
so it is that, the imagination.
Yeah, it's the imagination station.
Okay, so
kind
not
of
an additional craft. Okay.
Right. One person's waiting to come in.
Got it.
So any other, did I give enough overview that kind of gave you a good feel for how that Rocky Railroad will work towards would it be helpful if you had another Q&A about June 10?
VBS.
Oh,
I forgot.
The June 10, maybe I'll call one more Q&A for any last minute questions as we launch for that. Maybe what I'll do is I'll have should I have a separate heroes in a separate group? Now we'll see. But maybe around June 10, because we're getting together June 3 and fleshing out all the system. For any last minute, we'll have one more Q&A. But any other questions? That's about all I have that I can share with you. We have all your emails, so we'll be emailing you stuff, and as well as putting it on our website for any of the things that we're talking about. Any other questions as we wrap up our Q&A time? Oh, final one. I apologize. Final one. Community service. So we kind of want to know, what would you prefer for community service? Would you prefer what group pushes? Would you prefer something that we collectively do as a conference? Or would you prefer something that you find for yourself in your local church? And that's kind of an important poll as we end our section and talk about community service as we go forward. Judy, can you go ahead and launch that final
Already
poll,
launched.
please? Thank you. So we haven't fully talked about it, but one of the ideas, Patty, one of the ideas that we were looking at, and Patty's our guru when it comes to community service and connecting with community service. Can you share a little bit of one of the ideas that you were thinking of possibly that we could do as conference-wide?
Sure. We have very good connections and are great partners with the Boys and Girls Club of America. And they have sites all throughout the country. And obviously in your community, there are Boys and Girls Club sites. One of the things that one of their directors and I talked about is that currently with the COVID situation, for example, in Orange County, there are 1,200 homeless children and their families. And so they are trying to provide support. And one of the things that these kids will be needing in the months to come are school supplies, whether they're homeschooling, or whether they start going back to school, they're going to need school supplies. So one of the ideas that they gave is that all kids, no matter what Boys and Girls Club they belong to, will probably be in need of school supplies. So that's a project that we could launch conference-wide with our program to say, we can either help you find the Boys and Girls Club that's near you with a contact person, or you can reach out to them as well and just find out how many kids are in their program. And if you guys can, your local church can take that on as the kid operation Kid to Kid, which comes with, I'm talking about Rocky Railway, not Heroes, because that's the one I'm most familiar with. But you can do that and become involved with getting your kids and their families energized about providing school supplies. So as our own kids are going back to school or doing homeschool at home, kids will still need paper and pencils and things to work at home, especially elementary age kids. So the suggestion is that as parents are out purchasing stuff for their own kids, they can make a little extra purchase. Maybe a family can't afford to buy a full-on backpack and fill it up with supplies, but maybe they can buy, a ream of paper and some crayons and markers or whatever, and donate that to your local Boys and Girls Club. Now, some Boys and Girls clubs also have a food program. So for example, Orange County has a food program attached to their Boys and Girls Club. So that could be another thing where you can donate some food, or if there's even a local food bank in your community, that's another option that we want to give. But Boys and Girls Clubs are a good partner, and they're on board with us, and they're willing to offer more information and promotional material if you need it as you're promoting, as you're doing your Vacation Bible School.
Wow, that's pretty awesome. Yeah. Judy, what did the poll say?
So about 21 responded. 8 said that they would like to do it where their own church project. 11 said with the conference local project, and 2 said doing the VBS project.
Okay.
And we'll be able to get these reports, Manny, through the website.
Yeah. And all when it comes to Operation Kid to Kid is the name of the mission project that comes with the VBS. Really, all this stuff is optional. We want you to do whatever it is that resonates with in your context and your families. But we want to offer you some options, some alternatives if you're finding that you're unsure as to where in the community you can reach out to help. We figured that the VBS program usually has the Operation Kid to Kid piece that comes with Rocky Railway is usually an international project. But because of the pandemic that we're in right now and the great need that we have here locally, that's why we sort of pivoted to look to our own local community. And that's where we started to talk to Boys and Girls Club, and they were very eager to find out what we had to offer in terms of support for their kids. And since this is VBS is focused on kids and Boys and Girls Club has the same focus, we felt that this might be a good option, a good alternative for those who would like to follow that.
Beautiful. So I like this, 8, 11, and 2. So roughly about half of us say, hey, you know what, we'd like to do something collectively as the conference. And then the other half says, hey, we've got some needs in our local church that we would do. And I'd love to see both happen. I like it when churches find their own, but if there's something that it's not as easy, then we'll have something as well for the conference. So beautiful. Any last minute questions before we wrap up? We're getting to 2 hours here. Thank you so much for just staying with us all the way through. Love the ministry that you guys do in your local church.
Annie,
yes.
We have a couple of people asking. One is if there's going to be pre-recorded so that they can use it anytime.
A pre-recording for?
The VBS, our portion, what we're doing.
Yeah, but it will only be released after we've done it. So if that makes any sense. So after we've released June 29 Monday, then that will be available to be used.
At any time.
At any time afterwards.
After that date.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then the other question was, somebody was asking if we could release it the day before so that it could be pre-reviewed before they use it at the church.
Yes, please.
Yeah. The day before. See, the struggle with the day before is, so I'm going to just share with you what happens with Sabbath School. With Sabbath School, right, the original thing was it was supposed to be available Sabbath morning, so when the kids go on site, it's there. And we release it on Friday. And then we see that as soon as it's released, kids start to go in there and then they have nothing to do on Saturday. Let me mull over that idea, because if we're releasing it at midnight, so if you're pushing out Monday and we're releasing it at midnight on Sunday night at midnight kind of thing, it's only a 15-minute clip. Does that not give us enough time for the church to review that? Or do you need longer than that? I guess I'm just going to ask it out there. Do you need it longer than that? Is a yes or no poll. Judy, how do I do a yes or no poll?
Let me look at that real quick.
Yeah. there's, I know there's a quick yes or no, but do you guys need it longer? I mean, it's a 15-minute clip. Do you guys need it like the day before, or you could preview it in the morning before you show it in the afternoon? Just some quick feedback here.
Pastor,
Lita?
Question. The only thing I can think of that would make the difference is if we, for some reason, what you guys were doing didn't fit into what we were wanting to do, then we would have to then come up with something to replace that.
Got it.
That would be the only thing that I could think of that would require more time. Yes, we all can find 15 minutes to view it, but if we needed to do something instead that fit our church better, that would be my one thought.
Manny, and
let me
the
mull
other
that over
thing,
then. Mhm.
yeah, we'll have to think about that, Manny, I think, because the other thing that we need to also take into consideration is that we need to work in consultation with our editing team. So we'll see what their timeframes are, and you know, if it's easy to do a day before and the editing team, our media team is able to do that, then that might not be that much of an issue, but we need to talk to them about it.
Based on our time frame, we should have it done a week or two before we even show it. But that's plans and life are two different things, as you guys know, right? What you plan for and what really happens sometimes are different. But we'll keep that in mind. We'll put that in our notes.
I have another comment. Someone
Yes.
posted something and it made me think about it too, in regards to a question someone just had, was how are you distributing these to us? Are they going on the website just like your Sabbath school, or is it being emailed out to those who have said they wanted to participate? Because someone's like, could you just email it to us? And that would make a difference where not everyone can view it, but just the churches that are doing it.
So it's your preference that we email it directly to the churches participating, and so you use it
I'm
in
just saying
accordance?
that might help if you're not, I didn't know what your original plan was, but if you're putting it on your website, then anyone can just view it, like Sabbath school, and they're viewing it the day before.
You know, I like that. Let's put that on our notes. I say that for like, let's say, I'd say for the Monday, that we email it out to everyone, you know, 2 days before, 1 or 2 days before, right? We email it to say, hey, please don't show this until Monday. And then after Monday, then we could put it on our website. So Monday's program will be put on Tuesday so that when you show it Monday, it will be fresh and the kids haven't seen it. That makes sense to me.
And to give credit for partly Tamara's question there.
Oh, okay, yeah, but that makes sense to me, to email it to you guys so that your kids get to see it for the first time and they didn't go to YouTube and, oh, I saw that already, right? They didn't get a jump on you guys, that they're gonna get to see it with you for the very first time as you walking them through. And then after Monday comes off, we'll put it online for Tuesday, ready for anyone to use it after that. I love that suggestion. I think that's what we're gonna do. Love that suggestion. Thank you. Who gave that suggestion?
Tamara.
Tamara. Thank you, Tamara. Excellent suggestion. Got any others? You got 3 minutes, and then we're gonna end regardless what happens, unless it's really.
Manny, not a suggestion, but a question. Yeah, we were, my husband and I are not really sure what is it that you guys are going to be presenting to us as far as your program. Is it going to consist of the same thing every day, like the song service, Bible verse, and what else?
It's gonna be we're gonna remake and revamp those areas in group in the way that we feel is going to be more relevant and pertinent to our members. So that's hard to say because as we speak, we're literally drafting how that looks like and how that feels like. But it's definitely going to be different than if you took the group online kit and just played what they do. When you use the group home online edition, what you're going to get is pure group. When you do ours, you're going to get a whole lot more different spin and Adventist focus, if that's a correct term. We have a different lingo and a different philosophy, but we really wanted ours to be truly family centric, and we wanted to show that from anything from games to Bible story all the way to community service. in everything we do, we wanted it to be really family centric. And that's something that we were very intentional about. So I don't have a direct answer for you quite yet, Nancy. I am so sorry, because we are creating it as we speak, but we have just sat and created the philosophical and the framework for it. But does that sort of help?
Yes, yes, Pastor. It's more clear now. Thank you.
Okay. But basically, in a gist, let me put the thing on. So it just basically in a gist, if you guys haven't caught it already, Monday will be family moving activity, whether it's a revamp game or something that the family can do as a physical. Wednesday will be the Bible story, the nugget, and Friday will be the applicational portion and the community service in gist. That's basically how the 3 days are going to shape like. Okay, I may have seen one more question. If not, I think we're gonna.
Pastor Manny.
Yes.
I wanted to share something that I just started to do with the church in regards to like community. I'm doing a card for like those essential workers and inviting them to our church, and I thought maybe I could extend this with VBS. Let me see if I can if it shows. Here's like a thank you card that I used for to give to an essential worker if I go to grocery store, if I go to Walmart or something like that. And then it gives information of the church in English and in Spanish of our services and whatnot. So I thought maybe we could extend something like this as an invite to VBS.
Yeah, that's really neat. Give us a little bit more thing. We'll see if we could integrate that, or at least what I'd like to do is create a web page where we can create ideas and stories. Is that called a vlog? But but create a Facebook interest or something that we can talk about and give suggestions as we go on. We'll try to get something like that started, and something like that is really neat. You made that card that you showed us?
I did.
That is very cool.
I did. I made it for adventurers and one for pathfinders.
That is very nice.
And then on the back, it gives like the phone number and the address of the church. And so I've been handing some out to local grocery stores and stuff, and they seem to have a good response.
Yeah. Or better yet, right? You hand them around the neighborhood to families and kids to invite them to your VBS.
Correct.
Right? Virtual VBS. That would be amazing. That's what we want it to do. We want this to be evangelistic driven, families reaching out to families. Thank you for sharing that. That was wonderful.
Thank you.
Any other last minute thoughts or questions or comments?
Can we show that document that you've just been showing us to our teams, or like, just as we're trying to make our decisions about what to do? How would that work?
Are you talking about the that framework?
Yeah.
The handout? Yeah. So if we were able to get all your email, we're gonna email that to you so that you kind of see that we call it the working copy.
Sure.
Right now.
Yeah, just at least be able to let the others know, and they kind of to make their final decisions on what they want to do.
Right. Absolutely.
And see how it works.
Because it's about a team. We know that in VBS, yeah. Right? Absolutely. Thank you, Trina. Okay. It seems like we've. Thank you very much. Was this helpful? Yeah. So I'm gonna unmute you guys. Well, and all of that, but I want to just close this with prayer. Thank you so much for doing that. And Trina, I'm going to ask that if you could just close us with prayer as we do this, and then I'm going to hang around till the very end if other people have questions.
Okay, I'll do. Dear God, we thank you so much for being a part of the plans that are coming together for summer. God, we know we are in very unusual, challenging times, but we know that the children that are around us, that are within our spheres of influence, in our churches, in our families, our homes, they are still seeking that connection with you and with each of us, that we may bring together the love of God to our children in however way we can. So God, give us your imagination, give us your energy, give us your ideas, and and your strength to be able to dive into something that many of us are not quite sure how it's going to work. And we're learning new things and we're trying to stretch. So God, give us more than normal. We are asking for your gracious blessing upon all that we do. And we thank you for the support that we've seen here tonight, their questions and the support that we'll need and receive as we go forward. So bless the team in the conference that is planning, and the NAD and all the teams around who are stepping out and giving extra time and love to each of us. So bless us all, God, as we move forward. We thank you in Jesus' name. Amen.
In Jesus' name, amen. Well, thank you, Trina. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to stay all the way through. I will be here, and if you have any additional questions or comments, I will stay as long as somebody's there. So yeah, God, have a God day, God evening, and God life.
I have a question, Pastor Manny.
Yeah.
Your thing is, you're talking about doing it on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Are those terms, like the titles, going to be in it? So like if we chose not to do it Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I'm just concerned with people in our church and our schedule that we may not be able to do it those exact 4 weeks. So if we like shoved it a little bit or decided it worked better to do a Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, does that work? Or are you guys going to be using those terms so you can't switch time of the week? You know what I'm asking?
I'll have to run that by the team. In theory, we were going to use the terms Move It Monday, Wisdom Wednesday, and Family Friday.
Okay.
But I don't necessarily know that it's going to be that big of a deal where you couldn't say if you move the Friday to a Thursday, and maybe make it something like Together Thursday, right? Instead of Family Friday, right? Together Thursday, and Tuesday Tales, or whatever it is, Tuesday Nuggets, or we won't really super emphasize it, but that's going to be the framework. So that's a good thought. Now that you're sharing that, if you prefer us to not necessarily promote that this is called Move It Monday, Wednesday Wisdom, and Family Friday, the only glitch is if you're putting a Friday on a Thursday. Yeah, but you'll have it ahead of time, and if it's only for your church, yeah,
Well,
I don't have a problem with that.
We'd have to do it like a week late. So if you did it starting on, we might end up doing it 2 weeks later than yours.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Possibly is what I was thinking. So it would already be published, but I was just curious as far as if it was specific days of the week.
This is a time when I think we all kind of have to get creative. We're trying to reimagine VBS the best way that it fits for everyone. It may not necessarily fit for everyone. So if you need to show Wisdom Wednesday on a Thursday, I don't think it'll be that big of a deal. And you can probably play around with that a little bit and just make it your own.
And honestly, if we'll know with our media team, but if we could give this ahead of time, 2 days ahead of time, so that maybe your Wednesday Wisdom ends up to be on a Tuesday, 1 day before, it's going to be specifically just for your church. It's not going to be published out per se. I don't know. Something that we'll discuss, but I don't seem opposed to it right now. Just a thought and concept.
I mean, for my particular question, we would be doing it later anyway, so I wouldn't.
Oh, yeah. Then that would be no issue,
Yeah,
right?
mine would be
Yeah.
later. I was just curious.
Cool. Cool deal. I'm just hanging around, so you guys don't feel like you have to stay unless you have a question.
We're done.
Yeah, we're done.
Done. It was good to see you all.
Yes.
Quick question.
Yes.
Regarding the time frames, is there a time frame that you recommend better, or what was the thought for time frame, when to release it, what time to do it of the day?
So I presume that by the time July comes around, everybody's going to be back at work in terms of a little bit of normalcy. So I would say that I would release it when parents are home, so that it's more of something that the family can do together. And that may be at 6 o'clock. That may be at 6 o'clock. That may be at 7 o'clock, right? You'll know your church better than anybody else. But that would, if you want to make sure that it's done as a family, you want to make sure that it's a time when typically parents are home.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. But VBS is a strange week. Well, but see, it's going all July long. I mean, in your church, you know, they'll make that exception for that 1 week and they'll come home early. But when it's going all July long, you're probably going to want to pick a time where it's going to be easy, and you know that, oh, you know, it's a whole, most parents are home by 6:30. Maybe you'll do it at 6:30 or something.
Okay. Thank you. Blessings.
Blessings.
Good
Thanks,
night.
Naomi. Good night.
Pastor, hi. I wasn't able to join at 6. When did you say? I kind of heard you say you're gonna have another Q&A. When do you know when that's gonna be?
It will probably be after we have our June 3 meeting. So it will either be that same week or the week after.
Okay,
so
awesome.
Yeah, and we'll announce it out. We'll let everybody know the same way.
Oh, okay, yeah, because unfortunately I wasn't able to join till like just probably half hour ago, which was a bummer.
So the good news is we recorded this, and it's still recording as we speak, and we're gonna have a recording on our website, so you could go back.
Awesome.
And watch and fast forward to the areas that are not pertinent to you, so you could catch up for that. Yeah.
Okay,
definitely.
thank you so much, Pastor. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Glad you asked.
Thank you, Pastor Manny. Thank you, everybody. God bless.
Oh, God bless. Thank you for
God
coming
bless.
out, Nancy. God bless.
Thank you.
Thank you. Christine, are you actually there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, you're actually there? And is your mom
Thank you.
actually
Yes,
on
thank
there,
you.
Nancy?
Yeah,
Are you there,
in another
Nancy?
room.
In another room? Are you guys all in the same house?
Yeah.
Nancy, I haven't seen you for ages. Put on your camera.
Oh, she's in a meeting right now.
Oh, is she in another meeting? Okay.
Yeah, she was on.
Okay. I hope this was helpful for you, Christine.
Yes, it was. Thank you.
Okay.
I have some people who are here. Thank you, Armando. Stay until the end.
Yeah. I was surprised. We were as many as 61 at one point.
Mhm.
Yeah. We had
a lot of people on.
Yeah, we had a lot more than I was expecting.
Yeah, that's very good.
We just need to kick everybody else out so we can go.
I got the hit.
It's been a long day for Judy, actually everybody.
Yeah, thank you
All
guys.
right, I'm gonna hop off. Love you all. Take care.
Okay.
God bless you.
God bless.
We'll see you all tomorrow, guys. Bye-bye.
Yes.
Bye.
I'll stop the recording.
Okay. I know Nancy's another mate. Emma Lou